everyone. So today I'm going to show you how to make a cake stand. I've had a couple of requests for those, so let me show you how to do it. So I've already centered this big lump of clay. This is 5 kilograms or 11 pounds. And the reason I use such a big piece of clay is because I make the base quite thick so that when you turn it upside down, or in this case the right side up for the cake stand, that you've got enough to play with to make it nice and straight. So what I do first is you flatten this clay, and you must remember to leave yourself a piece to actually pull up as the foot of the cake stand. So how you flatten it, I just press down from the top and I hold my left hand here for support. And I continuously squeeze the sponge so that more water goes in between my hands so it doesn't get sticky. And then from here what I do is I use my left hand with my right hand and with the sponge so that you've continuously got water to press into the center of the clay. So you want to leave, like with the cake stands, I leave almost an inch to trim away. And then you can start pushing outwards. So when you've gotten to where you want the foot to be, you're going to leave a little bit of a lump of clay and push and continue pushing outwards, just for having enough clay to pull up as the foot. So here I'm actually lifting my hand a little, so I'll leave a little piece of clay for the foot, and then I press down again. And you want to continuously wet your sponge because this clay gets sticky, and that's when you start getting wobbles with this. If it's got a little bit of a wobble here, it doesn't matter because it's going to be a flat piece. The wobble doesn't really bother you. I don't know if you guys know this, but Cape Town and the Western Cape had quite a severe drought last year, and there was a big panic about our taps running dry. So this water is what I bought for that, and it has now expired because we never had day zero coming, thankfully. But now I use that water for pottery instead of just wasting it. So the major thing with this is you want the level here and the level here to be the same in the end. That prevents the S cracks forming and so on. So always remember you want an even base throughout the piece. So here I'm going to push out a little bit more, which is going to give me a bit more to pull up as the foot. And just flatten that a little bit. And then with my sponge I just bring the two together so that you've got what you're going to pull as the foot basically. And just again, this level and this level you want at the same depth. They have to be, it needs to actually look like you've got a plate and you just put a foot on top. And now the first thing I do is I pull the foot. You just pull it the same way you would any piece. Some water over the rim and start pulling. I usually do this as my first pull just to even out as much as possible and to get rid of the slip. And then you do your first pull. So you don't want to make your foot too thin, because remember it has to support the whole thing, especially in firing. If you make your foot too narrow, the chances of the sides warping as it glaze fires is quite high. And I found that this is basically the best width for this clay that I'm using. Also remember, all clays differ, so you might find that your clay warps a little bit, then just take your foot out slightly. And this is as far as I'm going to take this foot. I think this is a nice height. I found in the past that with other cake stands I've made the foot a little bit too shallow, so then you can't really see the foot when the cake stand is standing. And this should be fine now. And I just go once over just to get rid of all the slip, and then when I get to the end I just lift it slightly just to give myself something to pull here. This is going to be a rather big cake stand, so obviously you're going to use less clay if you make smaller ones. This one is going to be, after firing, it will probably be around 35 centimeters, or if I had to guess, 13, 14 inches wide. Okay, now to pull the side. I just press in with the sponge from the side just to give myself a piece that I can pull. I don't make them too, I don't make this ridge too high, just because it's not necessary, and also because of the glaze that I usually use on them, which is that ocean glaze, it drips off the pieces. So I don't like making them too deep, so that I'm always scared of losing some of the glaze. And I'll just do one pull here. So that's about as far as I will take it. I'm not going to pull any more. And then all you do, make sure everything is dried out properly. If you leave water on the bases, they crack quite easily, especially with this soft, smooth stoneware that I'm using. Remember, it's a bit confusing as well because you're actually throwing this piece upside down. It's not like with your normal pieces that you throw the right side up and then turn them upside down to trim. And just round off the edges. And then I'm going to trim off the excess clay on the side before I actually shape it a little bit. I'm going to shape this slightly outwards still. So the cake stands, essentially, you do waste a lot of clay because you're throwing the base so thick and so on. Remember, you can always just recycle the clay. And remove the excess there on the bottom. And I've got my little mud tools rim that I'm going to be shaping it with. Press it against the sponger. And that's basically the shape that I'm going to be doing. Just a nice rounded shape. This is going to be quite a big cake stand. might just round the foot a little bit as well. Remember, if you don't round it, the edges can be quite sharp after glaze firing. So always remember just to round off those rims a bit. And then round off this rim. And that's basically how you throw a cake stand. I'm going to show you how I shape the sides to make those little ridges now as well. What you can also do is, if you don't like throwing wings, you can use one of these tools to straighten this out, but I quite like throwing wings in my pieces. And then that's where you stop if you don't want a shaped cake stand. But so what I do is I hold my index finger and thumb on the outside, and then with my other index finger I just press out. So you create something like that. And then just turn it so that you can get a straight line. You do it on that side again. With this one I'm going to do 8 of them just because it's quite big. This gives you a really cool shape at the end, so it's such a simple method to do. And this is also very similar to how you would throw a chip and dip bowl. You will just make this obviously shorter and make it slightly more bowl shape. And then what I do is I just hold the two edges that I've pressed in, and then with my thumb I just press in, so it makes a nice little curve there. So let me try and make it clearer here. So you hold these two pieces out, and then with your thumb just softly press in to make a nice curve shape. I'm not sure if you picked up on it, but this wheel is so much quieter than the wheel that I did my first video on. And this is also my favorite wheel. It's so smooth, it just continues spinning. If you stop the wheel, it's a lovely wheel. This is also the one that I've got my pins on, so I throw all larger pieces on here. And that's it. There you've got your cake stand. Now now you would actually just run the wire through, and then you leave it to dry. This clay of mine, it is starting to become winter, so it dries slower now. So I'd probably only trim it in 2 days' time. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped you guys. Please remember to comment at the bottom to say what you'd like to see me throw and what you think of this. Cheers guys.